What's up guys, Shane here, Fugatech 3D Printing, and today we're going to check out the itty bitty Geeetech E180 3D printer. Welcome back guys. I said today we're looking at the Geeetech E180 3D printer. It's a tiny little bugger. I mean, the box is pretty small here. This is supposedly to be their competitor to the printers like the Monoprice Select Mini. I guess you would probably put it with the same thing. Well, it's the same style. So we say they ripped off the Monoprice Select Mini. They say they developed them themselves, but it's also to do like things like the Ender 2 is also a really nice small 3D printer. They work really well. There's a couple other like fabricators. Those are really small though. But this one is small, supposed to be the competitor to that. I don't know. But let's do a quick overview of the box, then we can finally dig in. So this is actually how it came shipped to me. All my other printers have had something else, like a shipping box outside of this one. There could be another one inside. I literally have not opened it yet. I don't know. But as you see, it's just the box with the nice black on here. They show you a picture of the little printer. Here on the side, they give you all the specifications. So it is an FDM printer. 130 by 130 by 130 is your print size. It's your print volume, I should say your build volume. It's how big of a print you can make, max sizes. The precision is up to 0.05 millimeters. So it's at 50 microns is what it's supposed to be able to do. Printing speed 80 to 110. That's impressive if it can do that, because the Geeetech, or the Monoprice Select Mini only goes up to 50 or 55 millimeters per second. It's the highest they recommend with that printer. It's 1.75 millimeter filament. Nozzle is a 0.4 millimeter. That is standard with almost any printer except for maybe like Lawsbot. I think they come with a 0.5. But like I said, almost anything else. It's supported is PLA, and the operating system it works on Windows, Android, and iOS. I say it's PLA only because their max extruder temperature is only 230. So with some ABSs, you might be able to print with this. Some, well, flexible really won't work because it's Bowden. Yeah, so it's really PLA only. They come with their Easy Print 3D software, which I'm hoping came a long way from when it was first launched, because it was trash back then. Supports STL code, like I said, max extruder temperature 230. And you can print via Wi-Fi, USB, or a flash card. It's a 3.2-inch full-color touchscreen. It's metal, injection molded plastic. The build platform is an aluminum plate. And the other side is exactly the same. So let's open it up and see what it looks like. First off, we'll look at the invoice here, and it says the value is $9.55. So I didn't mention, I'm sorry, this came actually from GearBest for me. I asked Geeetech for this printer a long time ago. They said absolutely, we'll send you one. Weeks, months have gone by, never another word. I tried emailing the rep again, never heard back from her. So it's nice that GearBest at least was able to send me one. Don't cut towards yourself guys, cut away, because I'm an idiot. Alright, so right here in the top we've got some paperwork. We have the Geeetech E180 3D printer little booklet here. Tells you about it, the accessories that are in there, specifications of it, which again, there's everything that's on the side of the box here, the physical dimensions and weight of it. So it's just about the printer, nothing special. And then they have the quick start guide, which is a very nice colorful sheet. That looks really nice. Open the package. Obviously, take out the E180 from the foam and place it on a flat surface. Take out the accessories in order. Tells you all the accessories on here that they have. There's an X through the ballpoint pen. They didn't have that one. And then it tells you a little guide here, a point guide of what all the different things on the printer are. How to prepare it for print, starting your print, where you get support, and how you can stay in touch with Geeetech, which I would love to know because they don't want to send anything. All right, so there's enough of that stuff there. So this is falling out. So here we have the accessories that they talked about. So that side for now. Another thing. Oops. SD card. Whoa, geez. Stuff just keeps coming on out. And then which way is up, which way is down? It's up. Okay. Ta-da! Okay, there that is. Other stuff here. Okay, so here it is in the color, I guess. Now it's not in the, black ink on the cardboard. And it is, yes, similar to the Monoprice Select Mini. There's the same gantry function here as a i3 style, supported from one side. It's a little bit of a larger build volume than the Monoprice Select Mini. It's got a little screen down here. We have our Y. Looks like they are using metal pulleys under there with some rubber ones as well. It's using V-slot, a piece of V-slot 2020 lumen extrusion in there. All the little steppers in there. The extruder is here in the back, which is interesting instead of being up top. So that kind of hides it away a little bit more. Like a spot there it wants to stop at. It's interesting. Anyways, let's look at these here. This is probably a power brick, maybe. Yeah, it's going to be using a power brick. I wish it just used the regular old ICE or IEC cables, regular old PC power cable, because those are so easy. Worrying about power supplies, it's just tough. It is. I mean, having a built-in power supply is just so much easier and better instead of having a laptop charger. Anyways, this one is a 8 amp power supply. So what do we have here? Okay, so it comes with the blue tape already on the printer there. And then they give us a spare single sheet of blue tape. We have what they said here was the spare nozzle, and it actually comes in like a full plastic housing, which is kind of weird. We have a little 1 gig micro SD card. That is not a whole lot of space. I believe this is the spool holder. I saw this in one of the pictures earlier. All right, we have the USB cable, which is just a regular old USB type, A, B, whatever that is. Got a little packet of loosely packed filament. Yay, it's more than a lot of other printers are coming with, but it's loose. They at least put on like a mini spool. We have a European power plug, which is no good to me right now. I will be using a regular one. And then we have this stuff. So, it's the tools. But what are the different tools here? There's just a cylinder with a hole in it, long one. Then of course, screwdriver, 2 Allen keys. And then there is this piece right here. It's gonna be hard to see. This is actually for pushing your filament through or out your extruder nozzle. The one actually came with my Geeetech i3. I bought that like 18 months ago, so it's been quite a while. I use that tool all the time. If a nozzle gets clogged at all, shoot that down there, pushes out whatever in there, and life is good again. Okay, so yeah, we have the extruder, build platform, power switch is right here. Little momentary switch there. And then the control panel here. On the back is where we have all of our connections. So this is a very light printer. I mean, it's plastic, instead of it being metal. Some of the parts are metal here, but the overall casing of it is all plastic, unlike the Monoprice all metal. So here we have our micro SD card slot, our USB, and our power in. There is a small, looks like a 40mm fan on the bottom, which is nice. That is a metal bottom to it with some little rubber feet. Help with vibrations a little bit. It does look like that this had a print on it. I have no way I can be able to show this on camera, but I can definitely see the outline of where a cat, like the cat G code was printed. You can definitely see where it was on the build plate there. So I'm wondering if they tested this unit before sending it. All right, so assemble the filament holder and hang the filament on it. Well, there's not really any instructions. It's only 3 pieces. Pretty sure I can figure that out. All right, so the first failure on their part is that this upright beam here is not tapped appropriately for this bottom support, or the holes in the bottom support are just drilled too far apart. I'd say they're off by about 3mm. They need to be just a smidgen further apart, and I can already see that they're not even drilled straight into it. The way that they're drilled in, they're cantered a bit. So even though it's on a round, they should be in level since they are attaching to a straight piece. They should be in line. They are not in line. And again, they are about 3 millimeters too close together. The top part mount goes on great, but the bottom doesn't. So I ranked it on there pretty hard. It'll work for at least the test print, but I put zero faith in this. It's a very cool, nifty design. It's different than everyone else is doing. But yeah, no, I'm not gonna put any weight into this actually holding up at all. E180 3D printer. You can hear all the fans kick on, if you can hear that over here. Okay, so I'm heating up the extruder now, and I'm going to go ahead and feed the filament. Now, because the extruder is just inside of a block, there's no, I guess there is an arm here you can kind of squeeze. It's just hard to really get to. But anyway, they have a feed feature. Yeah, now it's in there. And we're going to let it feed the filament in. Seems to be going. And as you can see here, I'm just using their test filament that they sent with the printer. And it's getting there, it's just god-awful slow. Okay, so it says now that we need to do the test print, so we're just going to go here to home that. Oh, that's going to home the whole printer. We're not going to home the printer, we're going to go back. Printing. 01cat.gco or the 424.g code. I don't know what either one is. It says it should be Geeetech code, but it is definitely not. There's no other. So let's try the cat, if that'll even work. Oh, there we go. So the one thing I noticed, and I didn't notice when I was getting the printer, there's no heated bed. So that's another reason why it is PLA only. And off it goes. So it was already heated up, and because I didn't have to wait for the bed, it just started right away. Now if you tell, it is too far away from the bed. So we're going to have to stop this. Yes, I want to kill the job now. Yeah, that's not first layer quality right there. Golly, that motor's loud. So I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way and peel up the corners of this tape, re-level the bed myself, because that's not in the menu whatsoever here to do. Not the quick start guide, I guess. So I'm going to do that and I'm right back. Okay, so I re-leveled the bed and we're going to try this again and see how it comes out. Hopefully the first layer goes down better than the last time. Okay, so it's been a few days since I originally started this unboxing, and some of the prints actually took longer than I thought they would, at least the stock ones. I wanted to do the video all in one night. It just didn't happen. So the very first print that I did was this little cat, and it actually came out miraculously well. It's probably printed at a 0.5 millimeter layer height simply because of how smooth it came out. You can't really feel like the layers are small, and this little cat took like 4 hours to actually print, where if I'm doing it at like a 0.2, I can print this I think 30 or 40 minutes. Like it's under an hour to print this, but this literally took 4 hours to print. There were some issues with it. So at the top, it definitely doesn't have enough top layers because you can actually see through the top layers. Now there were a few issues with this. Obviously right here you can see there's some discoloring on here, so there must have been something on the nozzle for that first print that just happened to come out, but surprisingly it didn't come out anywhere at the bottom, it came here at the top. Either way, that was fine, and at the top here, it's kind of hard to tell because it's white, but you can see through the top of the print. That means there wasn't enough top layers on it. That's in here, top of the paw, you can see there. But underneath this paw, there was no loops under there, and underneath this one here, there's just maybe like 2 or 3. But yeah, other than that, I mean, this came out super smooth. It's really hard to actually show how smooth it actually came out as. But yeah, I was pretty impressed with it. The next model here was this puppy, and I was actually surprised that on the corner of the screen, it actually shows you how much longer it has in the print. Well, when I started this print, it said 16 hours. I was like, oh my God. But it did not. It actually took around 6 hours, and I'll be able to tell once I do the final editing of the video. But yeah, this came out pretty good. It's fairly smooth in most parts. There are some retraction blobs here on the back, but I mean under here on the fur, And again, top of the head under extruded, so top of the nose, top of the head, definitely not enough top layers or perimeters for that fact here, just because it was such a fine layer height. But yeah, so this was, again, for a, not my profile stock print, they both worked and they both came out fairly decent, so not too bad. So since I had some time, and I figured, well, I would just try using their easy print software to see if I could get a decent print out of it. I printed a Benchy, and sadly, my son stole it. Looking around all over for it, I can't find it anywhere, and I'm kind of mad about that. Anyways, it just came out horrible, and I'm using their E180 preset that's in there. All I did was change up like the infill. I didn't really change too much in there, but man, it was just horrible. The retraction was 2 millimeters, and it just really bad print. I mean, super stringy, all that jazz. So I was like, okay, well, let me see what Simplify 3D has. There is no profile Simplify 3D. This 3D printer is like brand new, basically. So not many people have it, and no one's developed and given Simplify 3D a profile so they could publish it on their servers. Okay, well, someone did tell me that, hey, it's kind of like a Monoprice Select Mini clone. Try that profile. Now with my Monoprice Select Mini, I get really good prints, no banding really in there. The traction is spot on for that machine, and it just works great. I did that on here, very first one, and I just stopped it. It was just so blobby, and there were so many strings in there, it just did not work at all. So then I went to work on all of these. Now, there are a lot of Benchies here, and I went through a fair bit of a roll that I used for a review, and I had some left over, like, well, let's just use that. So when I pulled the first Benchy off of the printer after using Simplify 3D, it was okay. So, I mean, see, there's not much stringing here, but the retractions here were just horrible, and I couldn't figure out what that was all about. And then also, you can see in here, we are super under extruded in there, and this was printed at a 1.0, so the full extrusion multiplier, 100% is what this was printed at. And the bottom was okay, so a little far away there. So I made some changes, and this one came out no better. It changed up some retraction, upped my extrusion multiplier a little bit, still under extruded. This one, still under extruded, but my retractions got even worse for whatever I did. I did this one, I just stopped it because it just, again, was not working. Anyways, I got all the way up to this one, and here you can see it's a beautiful Benchy. So a little bit of layer changes here, but other than that, it is perfectly smooth. There's no ghosting at all there. Under here, a little bit of drooping, but there is this right here, this black spot, this under extruded right here. It's kind of hard to tell, but that under extruded right there, for some odd reason, I don't know. And then, but here at the deck, it looks pretty good. So we were close to what it should be. And then I did this one, which came out much better. And I think I'm going to up my extrusion multiplier one more. So this is at 1.18. So that's 118% of the extrusion multiplier is this. So as you can see there, it's pretty close. The top here looks great. The chimney looks good. It's all filled in around it. This little porthole back here is good. The wording is, as good as it can be at 0.2 on a small Benchy. When you scale this up, you can read that. My only problem here is on this pillar here, you can see my retraction changes, and I'm not quite sure how to fix that yet, but I will be playing with it more to try and figure that out. Again, this is just the unboxing and testing with this printer, but I have a lot more testing to do and to figure that out. And I just wanted to do a really quick maker coin. So this is 150% of my coin, and actually had it, the print stopped. For some reason right here it stopped. So it literally just went to pause, and the extruder rose up, and that was it. I was like, well, what the heck? So I hit play, and this is where it started. As you can see, there is some issues there, but once it got going, see that line totally disappears. Now here you can't even tell there that line was there. But I mean, it looks good. So it wasn't under extruded at all anywhere. Everything filled in. The support went on really well, and even the support back here, it came off really well. There's no real rounding issues on here. So yeah, I mean, it actually printed very well for what it is. So again, these two models were printed in the stock filament that came with the printer. It was loosely wound, so I ended up using one of my MakerBox spools that I reviewed in a few months ago, and I used this to wind that filament on and then use it. I am using their spool. Only one screw in the bottom is holding on the upright. it seems to be holding on okay, but because of the way it is, maybe it's just because that roll is wound so perfectly and tightly, it actually pulls that along. So I had to get some weight, put some weight on the feet in order to hold it still because it was sliding here across my desk. If I had a rougher surface, maybe like on the plywood or something like that, it wouldn't move, but just keep that in mind. But either way, it does not fully secure, so I can't recommend you use it. I just wanted to just see what would happen, and it did work for, for the few hours that I've used it so far. And as you see here, I did totally screw up that original tape that was on the bed. I just ripped that off, threw some regular blue painter's tape on there. It isn't working out. I actually have got my settings right to the level now. I can literally just pop the print right off. It's an unheated bed. So there's nicks against it there, but it's an unheated bed on the blue painter's tape. If you have your settings just right, all of these prints just popped right off. I didn't use a putty knife or anything, and it came off. It was great. So I'm happy that I finally have the layer height and my first layer settings perfect on this machine right off the bat. I mean, that was pretty quick to get that. All right, so let's talk about the printer real quick, what I like and don't like about it. We'll do about the dislikes. So the price is quite expensive. On Geeetech's website, this is $300. On GearBest, which is who sent me this printer, it is $250. That's $30 more than the Monoprice Select Mini. Does it print better or just as well as that printer? I can't be the judge of that yet. Again, I've been printing for maybe like 6-7 hours for all these different prints I've been doing, 8 tops. So I can't make that distinction yet. But the fact that it's $30 more and the Select Mini has more features, mainly the heated bed, that's a big issue to me. I really think that it should be a lot cheaper, on the sub $200 for what it is. Also, the Ender 2 is a great printer. I'm loving printing with that one. That one goes down to sale all the way down like $145. That's heated bed. It's a bigger build volume than this. It's 140 by 140 by 200. This is a 130 cube. So this printer has a lot of positives going for it, but the actual build volume, dollar per build volume that you get is really, really low, and it's really not worth it for that fact. So everything I don't like about this printer is the Wi-Fi on it doesn't work. I don't know if the Wi-Fi module just actually isn't there and it's not seeing anything, but it's supposed to, and it's not seeing my Wi-Fi. I'm running standard mixed network. Every device I have in my house is basically on Wi-Fi, and everything else can see it. This just does not. Also with their app, I downloaded that on my iPhone, and I can't even sign in, and I can't even create an account on it in order to get started with the app. So that's two things against them right now. I even tried with a VPN, without a VPN, because I'm not in the United States. Nothing seemed to work with that. So if you guys had any positives with their Wi-Fi or their app, please let me know. I would love to try and troubleshoot that for when I actually work on this some more. I have someone to guide me a little bit on that, because their documentation does not help at all. So as I said earlier when I was talking about settings, this machine under extrudes a lot. So the E-steps are not calculated whatsoever, and as far as I can tell, there's no way to set that in the software. You'd have to reflash the firmware. I may have to reach out to Geeetech and ask them for a copy of it so I can flash it myself. I don't even know if they offer it up there, like Monoprice does not offer theirs up there. I'm unsure, but it's under extruding. Mine's at 118%, the extrusion multiplier. So keep that in mind when you're first starting out. If you're really not getting things working out so well, try up the extrusion multiplier, see if that helps at all. It could just be my machine, but it could be all of them, I don't know. But other than that, I did look at a few other videos online, and a lot of people had a lot of other issues, which I did not. I mean, it homes properly, so it homes up and to the left is home position, and the bed all the way back. There are people that it didn't home. I know the hot end guys had a whole slew of issues with theirs, and then they finally got it printing. I had no issues except for trying to figure out the settings for Simplify 3D. That was it. So I kind of call that a win for at least this one. Now, they had earlier versions, I believe. Their videos came out a little while ago, maybe like 2 months before. It could be they've made changes and everything since then, and I'm now just receiving my unit. I can't tell, but as of today, this printer functions perfectly well once you have a good profile for your slicer. So that sums it up. This is the little machine that it actually does print well. Takes a bit to get dialed in, kind of like all the Geeetech printers. But I am pleasantly surprised with this little machine. So if you think it's worth it, and if you think you want to try it out, there'll be an affiliate link down below for GearBest. You can go ahead and order it there. I greatly appreciate it. Or if you don't, just go to GearBest on your own, order one up. I will do a future review on this once I've printed with it for a while, just see how it goes through the paces, how long does it last, do I ever need to use the spare nozzle, things like that. I will let you guys know in the future. So if you guys enjoyed the video, I hope it found it helpful whether or not you should pick up the Geeetech E180 3D printer. And if you did like it, please give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Talk to me in the comments down below. I would love to hear from you whether you agree or disagree with the video. Please give me some comments. I'd love some feedback on how I do these unboxings. If you want to support me, the biggest thing you can do, hit that subscribe button. I greatly appreciate every one of you coming back to see me. That's funny. Hit that bell icon. That way you get an email notification anytime I upload new content, and you can see videos just like this one as soon as they come out. If you want to support me financially, there's a Patreon link down below. Donate me $1 more. I greatly appreciate it. Current Patrons, you guys are awesome as always. And if you don't want to donate directly to me, down below a bunch of affiliate links. Do your daily shopping with those. Again, there's a affiliate link for this printer and for GearBest. If anything else you want to buy via that vendor, any others listed below, I appreciate it. A little bit of what you buy comes here to the channel and helps me purchase things for it. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Until next time, happy printing.